Hello everyone, how are you? And welcome to Abhith Siksha. We are doing class 9, the fundamental unit of life, and this is part 4. Now do you remember what we did last class? Last class we studied about the cell wall and the nucleus. So what is a cell wall? First of all, cell wall is only and only present in plant cell. It is absent in animal cell. It is a rigid membrane present outside the cell membrane or the plasma membrane, and it is made up of cellulose. Then we studied about the nucleus. What is nucleus? Nucleus is the brain of the cell, and nucleus has 3 major components. The 3 major components are, it has a porous double layer membrane, also known as the nuclear membrane or the nuclear envelope. Then a fluid called nucleoplasm, and then we have nucleolus, which is also known as the brain or the nucleus. So this is everything that we studied last class. What are we going to study today? Let us see about today's class content. Today's class content is, number 1, we will be studying about the cytoplasm, then cell organelles, endoplasmic reticulum, and under endoplasmic reticulum we have the structure and location, types, and then functions. So let us start with cytoplasm. Cytoplasm, the third major feature that every cell, almost every cell, irrespective of size and irrespective of their size and shape, possesses. Okay, first we studied about plasma membrane. Yes, what is plasma membrane? It is a protective membrane. If a cell is a room, then the walls of the cell will become the plasma membrane. Then we studied about the nucleus, the brain of the cell, and today we will be studying the cytoplasm. Okay. Now, this is the general representation of a cell. From the very first class onwards, we have been studying that this is the general representation of a cell. We can see the outer membrane. This part is the plasma membrane, and in the center part, centrally located, we have the nucleus. Now, my question for you is that what is present between these two? In between plasma membrane and the nucleus, what is there? Like, is there any gas which is present there? Is it filled up with gas? Is it a solid material that fills this space up? Or is it completely vacuum? Is it a hollow space which has nothing in it? What is there inside the cell, in between the plasma membrane and the nucleus? So the answer is, this entire space is filled up with a fluid. Okay, not a gas, not a solid. It is not hollow and vacant as well. Instead, it is filled up with a fluid, and this fluid is known as the cytoplasm. So let us learn about cytoplasm. It is the fluid content. It is the fluid content inside the plasma membrane. It contains many specialized cell organelles which are meant to perform specific functions. This cytoplasm, it is a fluid content present inside the plasma membrane. Inside the plasma membrane, and this cytoplasm contains a lot of specialized cell organs, we can say, or organelles. It contains a lot of cell organelles, and these cell organelles are meant to perform different functions, different specific functions of their own. If we need to study in more detail about these cell organelles, then we can say that these cell organelles are membrane bound little structures. Okay, they are membrane bound, meaning they have membrane. Just like a cell has a protective membrane, which is the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. A nucleus has a protective membrane, which is the nuclear membrane. Yes. Similarly, cell organelles also have a membrane surrounding them. So that is why we call the cell organelles to be membrane bound little structures. And what do these little structures do? They are meant to perform specialized functions within a cell. They all have their special different functions, and they all perform them collectively so that a cell can perform and work nicely. Okay. Now, in this cytoplasm, a lot of cell organelles are present, which we will be studying in our today's class. Okay. Among all these cell organelles, can we say that our nucleus is also one of them? Our nucleus of the cell, that is also present in the cytoplasm. Nucleus is also floating in the cytoplasm. So in many books or in many sources, you will find that nucleus can also be termed as a cell organelle since it is floating in the cytoplasm or it is present in the cytoplasm. Okay. Now a cell contains a lot of cell organelles. There are many cell organelles, but for class 9 standard we will only discuss 6 of them. There are many cell organelles in a cell, okay, which have many different functions, which have many different roles of their own. But for class 9 we will study only these 6. What are the 6 cell organelles that we need to study? Number 1, we have endoplasmic reticulum, in short ER. Okay, endoplasmic reticulum, we will be studying this in our today's class itself. Then we have the Golgi apparatus. Sometimes it is also known as Golgi body. Then we have lysosomes, then mitochondria, then plastids and vacuoles. Okay, in our today's class we will be focusing mainly on endoplasmic reticulum, in short ER. So let us start with our first cell organelle, which is ER or endoplasmic reticulum. If you ask me that what is ER, endoplasmic reticulum, in a single line, okay, then I would say that ER is like a factory. Nucleus gives the instruction to the cell about what to do, how to do, and where the cell needs to perform that particular function. Okay, so ER is like a factory and it also helps in transportation. Factory in the sense that it makes various substances, and ER also helps in transportation of those substances. So in a single line I can say that ER is like a factory. Okay, so what is ER? It is like the factory. Now let us study about the structure and location. We will be studying structure and location, then we will study the types, and then we will go for the functions. Okay, let us start with structure and location. So ER or endoplasmic reticulum, it is a large network of membrane bound tubes and sheaths. What is this? It is a large network of membrane bound. We already studied that cell organelles are membrane bound. So it is very obvious that endoplasmic reticulum is also membrane bound, meaning it has a membrane. A membrane surrounds the ER which separates the inside of the cell organelle and the outside of the cell organelle. Membrane bound tubes and sheaths. So there are tubes and sheaths, and these tubes and sheaths, they are connected to one another. They form a large network of tubes and sheaths, and all these small tubes and sheaths, they are membrane bound, or they are covered with a membrane. Okay. The ER membrane, the membrane that we are talking about, okay, this ER membrane is similar in structure with the plasma membrane. It is similar in structure with the plasma membrane. Just like a plasma membrane, what the plasma membrane does, it separates the inside of the cell and the outside of the cell. Similarly, the ER membrane will also separate the inside of the ER and the outside of the ER. Okay, they are similar in structure. It originates, it meaning ER, endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum originates from the nuclear membrane. It originates from the nuclear membrane and follows a continuous path to the plasma membrane. Now look at the figure here. This is our cell. Yes, this big spherical structure that we can see, this big spherical structure is the nucleus. Okay, this is the nucleus. The membrane surrounding nucleus is the nuclear membrane. Since it is a double layered membrane, we also call it as nuclear envelope. Yes, and then you can see that from the nuclear membrane originates the ER. And this ER has a continuous path which joins to the plasma membrane. Okay. This is the ER which is being originated from the nuclear membrane or the nuclear envelope, and it has a continuous path and joins to the plasma membrane. Okay, that is what it is written here. It originates from the nuclear membrane and follows a continuous path to the plasma membrane. This point is actually very important and it has a specific function. Okay, there is a function related to this point. So we'll better understand and discuss in more details when we will be discussing or when we will be talking about the functions of ER. Okay, for now simply remember that it originates from the plasma membrane and then it joins It joins the plasma, originates from the nuclear membrane and joins the plasma membrane. Okay. Now this ER, in some endoplasmic reticulum, we will find that there are tiny particles embedded in its membrane, embedded in its structure. There are tiny particles embedded in its structure, and then we will find some ER which do not have these tiny particles embedded in it. These tiny particles are ribosomes. Okay. So what we will find, some ER has ribosomes attached to its surface and some ER do not have ribosomes attached to its surface. The ribosomes that is attached, this ribosomes gives a very rough look or gives a very rough structure to the ER. And those ER which have ribosomes attached to its surface are known as RER or rough endoplasmic reticulum. And those endoplasmic reticulum which do not have any particles attached to it, which do not have any ribosomes attached to its surface, those endoplasmic reticulum are known as SER or smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Let's learn more about this rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. Now look at this figure over here. This is our nucleus. Nucleus is surrounded by the nuclear envelope. See, this is the nuclear envelope, and then from the nuclear envelope originates our ER. This is our ER. Okay. Now, if you can observe nicely, if you can see this figure nicely, then you will see that there are certain particles. There are certain particles or there are certain substances attached to the surface of the ER, attached to the membrane of the ER. Okay, and there are some part of the ER where there is nothing attached. No external structure, no external particle is attached to the surface. So the type of ER where these tiny particles are attached, tiny particles meaning ribosomes, these tiny particles are nothing but ribosomes. So the ER where ribosomes are attached, they are known as rough endoplasmic reticulum or RER in short. And those ER where we will not find any attached particles, any attached ribosomes, they are known as smooth endoplasmic reticulum or SER in short. Okay. So if you are making notes and if you need the definition of RER and SER, then this is the definition of RER and SER. What is RER? RER has ribosomes attached to its surface, making it look rough. RER, rough endoplasmic reticulum. And what is SER? SER has no ribosomes attached to its surface. That is why it has a smooth surface. SER, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. How will you remember it? R for ribosomes, R for rough. In case of smooth, S for smooth, S for smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. Now these ribosomes, what are these ribosomes? Okay, ribosomes are a site of protein manufacturing. What are ribosomes? First of all, ribosomes are present in almost all active cells. Ribosomes are present in almost all active cells. And these ribosomes are a site of protein manufacturing. They are the site where proteins are manufactured, they are the site where proteins are made. Okay, so indirectly we can say that RER, that is rough endoplasmic reticulum, makes proteins or manufactures protein. Yes? So RER, what does it make? It makes proteins or it manufactures proteins. So if rough endoplasmic reticulum makes proteins, what does the smooth endoplasmic reticulum makes? Obviously, we will not find any ribosomes attached to the surface of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So we can say that SER does not make protein. For sure, we are very sure that SER does not make proteins. So what does it make? SER manufactures fats or lipids. Manufactures or it makes fat or lipid molecules. And these fat and lipid molecules are very important for cell functions. So what does RER makes? It makes proteins. What does SER makes? It makes fat or lipid molecules. Now if you recall, if you remember about the plasma membrane, then when we were discussing about the plasma membrane, I told you that the plasma membrane is made of proteins and lipids. Yes, we did discuss that plasma membrane is made up of proteins and lipids. So the proteins made by the RER and the lipids made by the SER, some amount of this protein and lipids, they will go and help in the manufacturing of the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. Okay, see, some of the proteins and lipids help in making the cell membrane or the plasma membrane, and the process of making of cell membrane or the process of making of plasma membrane, this process is known as membrane biogenesis. That is why it is written here that some of the proteins and lipids help in membrane biogenesis. What is membrane biogenesis? It is the process by which a cell membrane is made, or it is a process by which a plasma membrane is made. Okay. So, some helps in membrane biogenesis and some functions as enzymes and hormones. Some acts as enzymes and hormones. Now, what are enzymes? What are hormones? Enzymes, in very short, I can define enzymes to be biological catalysts. What are enzymes? They are biological catalysts, meaning they are biological substances which speeds up chemical reactions which are undergoing inside our body. Okay, so what are enzymes? Enzymes are biological catalysts. And what are hormones? Hormones are like signaling agents. Okay, in very short, I can simply say that hormones are like signaling agents produced by glands. They are signaling agents produced by glands. There are many different glands in the human body, and all these different glands produces different hormones. Okay, these hormones are released directly into the bloodstream. They are signaling agents. So we will discuss in detail about enzymes and hormones in some other time, in some other class. Okay, for now let us keep our discussion limited to ER, endoplasmic reticulum. So some help in membrane biogenesis and some functions as enzymes and hormones. Okay, so we discussed about the types. Next, what we need to discuss about the functions. We know that we have SER, we have RER. We have also discussed that some proteins and lipids go and help in membrane biogenesis, some functions as enzymes and hormones. But as a whole, what is the function of ER? Although those two are also important functions of ER, but as a whole we can say that ER or endoplasmic reticulum serves as channels for transport of materials. They serve as channels for transport, or we can say they serve as transport channels. How? Now we have already discussed that ER originates from the nuclear membrane. See here in this figure, this is the nucleus, this is the nuclear membrane. The ER originates from the nuclear membrane. It originates from the nuclear membrane and it will go and connect to the plasma membrane. So this ER, what it does is that it acts as a transport channel. It will transport material within the cytoplasm or from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. It will help in transporting various substances. So what is the second point? The second point is it also functions as a cytoplasmic framework. It also functions as a cytoplasmic framework. Now what is a cytoplasmic framework? Meaning it provides a surface. What it does, it provides a surface. Okay, it provides a surface for some of the biochemical activities of a cell. For the biochemical activities to carry on, it needs a surface, and endoplasmic reticulum will provide this surface. Okay, so under functions we can write these 2 points: serves as a transport channel and then functions as a cytoplasmic framework. Okay. Now ER, in different cells the appearance of ER may be different. ER meaning endoplasmic reticulum, the appearance of ER may be different, the number of ER may be different. Okay, for example, the liver cell. In liver cell of vertebrates, okay, in liver cells of vertebrates, what do we mean by vertebrates? Vertebrates are those organisms which have a vertebral column. In short, we can say that those organisms which have a backbone, just like human beings. We also have a backbone, so we are also vertebrates. So in liver cells of vertebrates, SER plays a crucial role in detoxifying many poisons and drugs. In the liver cells, we find a lot of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And these smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they play a crucial role. They help a lot in detoxifying poisons and drugs. What is the role of liver? The role of liver is detoxification. But how is SER, liver and detoxification related? How are these three words related to one another? So a liver detoxifies drugs and poisons. In order to detoxify, what our body does is our body removes. What does detoxification means? It means removing of drugs and poisons. In short, we can say toxins. Okay, toxic substances. What our body does is our body tries to expel out the toxins. How will our body expel out the toxins? With the help of urine. All the toxic materials, they will get dissolved in the urine and our body will expel all these toxic materials via urine. But urine contains a the major part of urine is water. Urine is mostly water. So for toxins to get excreted out via urine, the toxins need to be water soluble. And not all toxins are water soluble. There are many toxins which are water insoluble, meaning they will not get soluble in the urine and our body will not be able to throw them out of our body. So what SER does is that the enzymes of SER, they will act as a catalyst. Okay, the enzymes of SER, they will make the water insoluble toxins water soluble. They will convert water insoluble toxins to become water soluble toxins. In that way, these toxins will now be able to get soluble in water. They will now get soluble in urine and our body is now able to remove those toxins, is now able to remove all those poisonous substances from our body. Okay. So in liver cells, we find a lot of SERs, and these SERs plays a crucial role in detoxification or in detoxifying poisons and drugs. Okay, so this is everything about ER, that is endoplasmic reticulum. Let us do a quick summary of what we learned in our today's class. First, we learned about cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? It is the fluid content inside the plasma membrane, and this fluid content is known as cytoplasm. Cytoplasm contains a lot of specialized cell organelles. It contains a lot of specialized cell organelles. Then we studied about endoplasmic reticulum. In short, ER. What is ER? They are large network of membrane-bound tubes and sheets. They are of two types, which is rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Why rough? Because ribosomes are attached to the surface of this endoplasmic reticulum. That is why they are rough. Those who do not have ribosomes, they are smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Then number 3, we have they serve as transport channel. This is the function part. This is a function of ER. They serve as transport channel and functions as cytoplasmic framework, meaning they provide a surface for various biochemical activities inside the cell. This is everything that we studied in our today's class, and in our next class we'll be going one step further and we'll be starting Golgi bodies or Golgi apparatus. Okay, so this is all for today's class and I hope to see you soon in the next.